That baby in the corner over here. I'm
The
home
baby
myself.
corn.
Oh my God. That's it, that's it. For some reason, I thought Sunset Thursday started tonight. It's not till next, no, it's not till next month, June, yeah.
Thought they started in.
I thought they were starting tonight, but it's next, no, it's June 15th or whatever, yeah.
Usually at there.
Yeah, yeah, oh, that, maybe that's what it is. If y'all would come to the Memorial Day Parade, I'm in unit number 30, so y'all can wave to me. Number 30.
That's not.
No.
Did everybody get the email from Denise on the agenda and the resolutions email? Everybody get it? She sent out a couple days ago. Good, all right. Right, let's, Sakina, how are you? Good, we're ready to start? Good. Right, the order here, the Fourth Redevelopment and Housing Authority, PRHA Board of Commissioners, meetings are held the third Thursday today on each month at 5 p.m. All meetings are conducted here at South Street, unless otherwise noted. All members of the public are welcome to attend. And do we have any? Are you public? Yes, ma'am. Okay, we'll have about a half hour into it or so. Give you an opportunity to talk. Okay. Councilmember Tillage, thank you very much for being here. And Chief, again, thank you very much for being here. Hope you all speak in just a few minutes. Delise, you have got to do roll.
Commissioner Cost.
Here.
Commissioner Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Pickens.
Here.
Commissioner Prince.
Here.
Commissioner Wright.
Here.
Vice Chair Wick.
Here.
Chair Lalonde.
Here. I guess we got to do one at a time here. You got the regular, if you were sent, or hopefully have had the opportunity to look at the meeting minutes from our regular meeting, which was held April the 20th. I need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept. I agree.
A second. Second, good. Thank you very much. Elise?
Commissioner Cost.
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
Commissioner Pickens.
Yes.
Commissioner Prince.
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chair Wick.
Yes.
Chair Lalonde.
Yes. And of course, on May the 8th, we met, Monday, May the 8th, we met to special meeting to review the performance of our executive director, and the results of that have been spoke with the executive director today, Vice Chair and I at 3 o'clock. So I need a motion to accept those minutes.
Motion to accept.
Thank you. Second.
A second.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair, all right. Elise?
Commissioner Cost.
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yes.
Commissioner Pickens.
Yes.
Commissioner Prince.
Yes.
Commissioner Wright.
Yes.
Vice Chair Wicks.
Yes.
Chair Lalonde.
Yes, thank you. So next on the agenda, Chief Steve Jenkins coming aboard to talk to us and bring us up to date on the relationship that we have with the police department. I don't want to hide my feelings for Chief Jenkins. I sincerely appreciate him being aboard. He has definitely come up through the ranks here at Portsmouth. All right, I think I mean, have no nothing but praises about what he's doing. And in fact, I want to tell a story. You always think of people in leadership always leading from the front and always being very visible. And normally they're where somebody can get to them in some central place. Well, here I am riding down London Boulevard by Wawa, and there's Chief Jenkins standing on the corner, right, watching some of the activity right there, standing right there, watching some of the activity that's going on with some of the folks there. And I said, this is absolutely unbelievable. You know, how often do you see the chief of police out in the public like that himself, just watching for himself, looking for himself what's happening? But Chief, as I I was at a meeting with him this weekend, and I was just touting about his vision for a lot of technological changes. Obviously, much like the PRHA, we're having our issues with trying to hire people in certain positions. Well, the chief is, I guess, and not, I guess, he has achieved where he can fill the gaps with technology. All right. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. If you can't, you always got to have boots on the ground. There's no doubt about it. But if you can leverage the technology, and then the chief, again, is, in my opinion, is a policeman's policeman. All right. And I think he's got the respect and the morale. He's got, Mr. Bland and I had talked earlier today about the intangibles. The pay is the pay. What can you do to increase the morale with the intangibles? And Chief Jenkins has this like the heavyweight belt. All right. When he has something happen good that he hears about one of his police officers, he personally gives this championship belt to his police officers. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. So, Chief, sure, you got the concert.
I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen Jenkins. I'm the police chief for the city of Portsmouth. I appreciate you having me here today. I will give you an opportunity for some question and answer at the end. I'm not here to dominate your meeting, but I am here to speak with you about some of our technological advances that we have going on in the city. Obviously, for the last about 9 months or so, we've been touting some of the technology that we're bringing to the city in the way of cameras, license plate readers, gunshot detection, red light cameras, speed zone cameras for the school system, things of that nature. The thought process is that there are parts of this that because we don't have the manpower necessary, there are some parts that technology can assist us in not only making our community safer, but also giving us some additional eyes in the community. Obviously, we've talked several, been saying, see something, say something. We've been working with and PRHA. We've been very gracious and helpful with us when we have incidents that occur on your property, being able to get footage to us in a timely manner. And those things are great, which is part of the reason why I'm here today. So, as you know, we acquired technology called BOC. We're in the process of building a real-time crime center. That real-time crime center will, what we hope to be, is be staffed 24 hours a day. That it will give us an opportunity that when we have a call for service occur in the city or a particular violent incident, that we'll be able to at least have cameras in that particular area that we can begin to zoom into and start getting the investigative process going as soon as possible. The thought process is as officers begin to head towards that location, we can begin to zoom in to what's going on there as to potential suspects of what they're wearing, what a car they might have fled in, and things of that nature. And when you're talking about importance of trying to take the bad actors off the street, this is paramount. Unfortunately, we all know that public housing, for many reasons, is the place that a lot of our folks choose to do crime. And so one of the things that I'm very happy is that you have one of the better camera systems on your properties throughout the city. And so we're looking at leveraging your camera systems into the city cameras. And so what that obviously will do for us is that your places in Dale, your places in Patriot Way have cameras. Patriot Way, Seaboard Square will give us an opportunity to be able to monitor those areas after hours when things happen. Because again, imagine that you have something that takes place in one of the properties, and then we can actually leverage those cameras as officers are getting there. So one of the things that Fuchsia's allows us to be able to do is that, and it's actually a couple of things. It allows you to send pictures or photos of an individual or situation that is occurring directly to us at the police department. That is vital information because oftentimes what we get is we get very limited information. Respond to South Street, be on the lookout for a black male wearing blue shirt. Well, you get there and there's 4 black males who are wearing blue shirts. So we're looking for the details. And of course, if you stop an individual and that person is not doing anything, then generally what you deal with is a person who's agitated. I'm just minding my business and here I am being harassed, accosted by the police. So it gives us the opportunity to have laser focus on dealing with the folks that we need to deal with while not alienating the rest of the community. So the other part of that is it also gives us the ability to be able to text a kid. So you can take that same information and text those photos, and those photos will go out to officers as they begin to arrive on the scene. So now you have an actual visual of what this individual, what that car looked like as they were fleeing from the scene. All these things are great for us. The other part, I think that's going to be beneficial for us is we're making in the process of making a virtual response unit where an individual with fuchsias gives us the opportunity to take a person into a private room and actually almost have like a Zoom type conversation. Every call for services doesn't necessarily need a person or police officer to respond. Sometimes there are question and answers that an officer can do basically on a virtual platform. So we're going to utilize that to free up our officers to be able to respond to some of the more dangerous calls. What I wanted to do is show you just a couple of videos from Fuchsias. It is not a heavy expense, shall I say. And obviously, what we would do in it, what we would do is put you in contact with the representative who is with us. What it would require is for a Fuchsias box to be placed at each one of your facilities, and that facility would send that back to our real-time crime center. And again, the pricing on it is nominal when you're talking about safety within your community. So if I may, I'll show that real quick.
You'll be looking at me.
We're also having the same conversation with the school system. What's a little bit different with the school system is obviously there are privacy concerns when it comes to dealing with our children. And one of the benefits of the Fuchsias technology is the person has the ability to determine what levels of use that you allow a person to be able to use. So for a business owner, business owner has the ability to say, you can have all of my outside cameras, but none of my inside cameras. However, if something happens, I'll turn those inside cameras on and now you have access to them. So this is how much technology that we have at our disposal, but you can tailor it to be able to fit your particular use. It's interesting when you actually type in Fuchsias now, portion pops up. That's actually a good thing.
Yes, it is.
What I'm looking for is just a basic YouTube video, that's all. So, and just so some of the departments, this is very big. So a lot of communities, a lot of the communities actually have already began to implement this type of technology. And so one of the things that is going to be a game changer for us is that for one of the first times that since I've been in law enforcement, that we as a collective region are actually buying into something as a holistically. And so what you'll see is the city of Suffolk actually has just employed license plate readers. The city of Chesapeake has employed in particular systems. Generally what we do and have done for years is you'll buy a particular system, but we'll buy something different. We're all buying the same thing and they're all talking to each other. And so this gives us the ability to be able to, if Chesapeake to a car, or let's just say we have missing persons, which happened quite a bit. We're able to put that information descriptions in, and if it pops up into our city, we're able to know that this car is associated with a missing person, amber alerts, silver alerts, these type of things that are going to be beneficial to us. The cameras that you have on your particular properties, like I said earlier, unfortunately, and again, we can debate whatever reasons, for a lot of the issues on the property. But folks tend to, for some reason, flock to our public housing area. And the goal is to make these areas safer for everybody. Like I said, you have some of the better cameras in the city, and we hope to be able to bring those cameras into the cities to give us a better opportunity, not only to prevent some of the crime, but when it happens, actually put some of those bad actors associated with them so they don't come back onto the property. As I just looked, and this would be something that you would have to make a determination on how many cameras or how many, some properties may have more cameras than others. So that would make a determination on what size box that you would need. So the elite box, which has the most amount of camera feeds, is $7,300. And that includes a $2,300 a month fee. Not a month, I'm sorry. That's a yearly subscription. Okay. And so again, my thought is one box per facility. And again, some of your other places may not have as many cameras. So if your cameras are, if we're only looking at a place that has 4 or 5 exterior cameras, then that price is probably probably in the hundreds of dollars. And so again, that's just obviously a conversation that you had, and to figure out what the thoughts are on it. But again, I want to present it to you. I think I know as a police chief, I need it. It's going to be honest with you, because I know a lot of times my places in Dale, in particular, based on the way that it's designed, lots of our folks tend to go into that particular area and try to nestle themselves within there. And so again, with the potential for the real time, we can be able to see that, hey, we got a group that's collecting over here, they're dealing out there or things of that nature. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions for me before I sit down and answer your questions in particular?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have access already now to our cameras, correct?
No, well, let me back that up. Certain detectives have been given access to be able to view those particular cameras. But again, that's generally within an investigative standpoint, and we don't monitor those cameras in that particular way. That will require individuals to be able to log on, say, from their laptop or something of that nature. What we're in the process of doing now with the Real-Time Crime Center is we're dedicating space to a room that has 16 monitors that are spread across the wall, in addition to 5 workstations that have 2 monitors. And so not only will we be doing crime analysis that is associated with it, looking for patterns, associates, and things of that nature, but also the individuals. So if we have a crime that call for service at Walmart, any particular cameras in that area will start to turn on and be able to watch and see what's going on in that area, so our responding units can have a little bit more information as they get there. So when we talk about, what's going on with your cameras here now, we don't have that capability.
So this box will allow us, we can be one of the 16 cameras that you are viewing. Because right now you can't do that.
Right, your cameras will come back into the real-time crime center. So let me, if you don't mind, I'll show you all the thing. Yes, ma'am. Sometimes that's what we see. This is the downside of technology. Not liking any of that. Not telling you nothing. Let's go back. So what I'm attempting to show you is what our existing camera systems look like now. And so one of the other benefits of the way that this system is set up is that for some reason, it's not letting me log in. And it could be a pop-up or something of that nature, I'm not sure. But what it does is it gives our officers the ability to tailor it. So if I'm an officer that works in this particular area, district, or zone, and that zone encompasses their home, I can take all of the cameras that are pertinent to me in my area and put them up on my mobile terminal. So when I get a few minutes, and if I'm, say, sitting at Wawa having a beverage, I can still technically be in my area and seeing the cameras that are there. I can also do that from my cell phone. So again, these are things that we did not have the ability to do 6 months ago. But as we start to bring these cameras on, we're now getting the capability to do it. In addition to mapping out the cameras of our citizens who are willing to partner with us, and just say that we have cameras. We're not having access to it unless you want, but I can say if we have a crime that occurs in your area, I can say, ma'am, we had a crime that occurred. If you could look in your camera between this time and that time, and if you find anything, can you send it to this address? Again, totally voluntary. Anybody else have any other questions?
Chief, I guess it's a joint question between you and Councilman Tillage. It's a balancing act here. I'll speak for the other commissioners about where our focus should be. And obviously, I always like to think our focus is in housing. And monies that we get from HUD, our responsibility to spend it towards housing and the maintenance of houses. About 3 years ago, we got a challenge from the council and from the mayor at the time that we needed to take care of it ourselves. And that's why we bought all the cameras with the handshake promise that the city was going to reimburse us for those funds that we spent on those cameras. And we have spent a lot on cameras, right? Here I had the chief asking, hey, I need you to spend more money on security. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow, HUD's gonna start coming to us and saying, hey, you're spending on stuff on items other than housing. Right, you know, so I guess I'm walking a line here, all right? You know, you're kind of putting security on us, right? There's just needs to be some negotiation with that, you know, you're still trying to get this 1954 agreement going, you know, because we have hired up to five part-time security people, we got cameras, you know, and I don't disagree. We want to be part of the solution, but part of the solution comes with a check. And at some point, you know, and I know I've talked to, I've met with a couple of residents who say, hey, one of these days you're gonna be calling me about a plumbing problem, and we'll get to it, but I want to protect you first. So I guess, Councilman Tillage and Chief Jenkins, I'm just saying, hey, it just puts us in a very precarious position, right?
And I think those are some conversations that, we could have with, council, but also I think that it's very vital that, commissions such as PRHA and other bodies, meet with council so that we can put together a legislative package to go to the General Assembly and to Congress, that we can address those issues, especially on the federal level.
Because we've had discussions about the ring cameras. You know, again, I know we got the overhead cameras, and we had one of our commissioners very vocal about putting ring cameras at not only our public housing properties, but you know, we have a good 1,500 people, 1,500 families that are housing choice vouchers that are renting in the city of Portsmouth. And one of the conversations is do we have a responsibility to them for their security? And ring cameras would do that. Well, they don't have the money for ring cameras. You know, they don't have the money to pay for that, you know, the internet connection, all that kind of stuff. How far do we want to go? All right. So I'm all for technology, but it comes with a price tag. All right.
Yeah, it does. And so I think when we look at where we are today versus where we were a number of years ago, when I came onto the department, there were officers that were dedicated to being in PRHA. And so this was not a conversation that we would even be having at that point. There were, you know, it was the thought process of community policing. If you lived in Dale, you or your officer was,
Yes, absolutely.
had a particular issue. Fast forward now, when I sit here before you, close to 100 officers short, in a 253 man department, we're looking at stuff a whole lot different, and I'm having to utilize my resources a lot different. Not making any excuses for where we are, but you know, there are things that do have consequences. My job, and you know, I hear from time to time about frustrations from various parts of the city as to what we're attempting to do as a department. My job and support of council and trying to make sure that the city is doing the best that we can is to try to figure out what strategies that we can input. I know that there are a tremendous amount of grants out there, especially now, that are associated with crime prevention, whether it be for public housing or things of that nature. And that's something, if that's something that we as a team, being PRHA and the police department, need to get together on to do, then so be it. I had a call today with one of my federal partners from the FBI on a conversation just that they don't have the ability to apply for a grant, but we do, and they had an idea, so they wanted to pitch it and see if we'd be willing to go intercede to be able to get something for the region. And so again, at the end of the day, and I trust me, I get what you're saying. I'm just telling you at this point, we continue to bring these tools on board, and we'll do the best what we can. But I'm hoping at some point that we'll be able to utilize the technology that is already present, and for us to make just that area just that much more safe.
Thanks, Chief. Anything else, any commissioners? Chief, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you for the time, sir, and again.
Did
thank you
anybody
for what
have
you
any
do.
question for me outside of this? Yes, ma'am.
Outside of that, I heard you speak about the cameras like on County Street
Yes, ma'am.
where it clocks your speed.
Yes.
Just a question for Mike. What, does that take a picture of your license and send it?
So the way that these, speed zone cameras will do is exactly that. When your red light cameras, when you run a red light
Mhm.
in a particular time frame, what it will do is it will, take a picture of your license plate
Mm-hmm.
and that light, then the company itself will send that to the police department for verification. So by, code, every photo has to be verified. And so once it's verified, then the company will send you a bill based on that. When you talk about speed zone cameras through the school,
Mm-hmm.
this is not something that's running 24 hours a day.
Sure.
It is a time frame that you may run 30 minutes before school and 30 minutes after school or during those times when they come in. So it's not a situation where the city's trying to make revenue off of folks in that aspect, but it's truly about trying to slow people down around our children
Mhm.
during those vital times when we're bringing people in and bringing people out.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Well, I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Having me. And obviously, if there's anything that I can do, let me know. If you need me to come back at any point in time, please get in contact. Mr. Black.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
sir. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My comments, Councilman Tillage, why don't you go, sir, and then I'll,
Well, good evening,
in case you
everybody.
need to leave. You don't leave your phone here.
Actually, that phone, I still don't know where that phone is. I lost it last week. You go like 3 phones now. But, what do we have going on now? So we just passed our budget last week. It was a $843 million budget. Biggest budget in the course of its history, due to inflation and the things going on in the world. But we're proud to say that citizens, we gave a 5-cent credit for their real estate tax. So this year you'll be paying $1.25 per 100 instead of $1.30 per 100. In addition, we rejoined the Hampton Roads Alliance this year for economic development. And so that's basically our regional economic development authority for us to hopefully be able to leverage some partnerships with businesses in other localities to bring more economic development here in the city of Portsmouth. City employees are getting a raise this year, 7% increase. So that's a good plus for us. What else do we add? What's in that budget this year? Increase for public safety, as well as for human services. So we're trying our best to give people the resources that they need to get back on their feet. Especially, due to inflation, people coming out of the pandemic, people still are struggling. And then also with the mental health aspect on it. So we're hopefully rolling out some new plans with our behavioral health care and social services around those things. And then also the city manager announced last week, $100 gift cards for seniors over the age of 62 who have received their COVID vaccine. You don't have to receive all of it, like the booster as well. As long as you receive at least one shot, you're eligible for the $100 gift card. And so that program is revamped and it is back out here. So fingers crossed, all goes well.
Yeah. Thanks.
But that's about it.
Is there any questions at all for, sir, I guess I'll include in my remarks, again, back to the board and the staff, thank you very much. I think we've had a good month and we'll be talking about some of those finances. On the budget, sir, I know we got Mr. Bland working with the city manager. There was no line items for PRHA on the budget. The only monies that we see are for the repair program for seniors, and that's money that's being passed through from HUD to CDBG, and it just passes through us. But I guess we're anxious to sit down with y'all to see where you want, you know, what's the council's vision for affordable and low-income housing? And, where we can send our resources, but it's always nice when we can see the council or the city make an investment in what we're doing for the citizens. We're gonna be coming to you on, Tuesday for 5315, High Street
Mhm.
for the senior housing there. We are trying to expand our senior housing outside of this side of the water. We already know that we've been, turned down by, planning. But, you know, we want to put senior housing all over this city. We're still trying to understand what's causing the ripple there. So we'd appreciate any support that we can get there. And just I guess a stab, you know, when we owned the garage, we spent a lot of time and effort to make sure it was clean. We had security people running through there. Back to that, we made the investment here at PRHA. And I know the city's got a challenge now with that garage. So, we did what we were supposed to do and turned it over. With that regard, in addition to the cameras that we were promised that we'd be reimbursed for, when we turned that garage over, there was millions of dollars in funding that we had spent in that garage. We even provided the paperwork to the city manager at the time. So we just need some help on the city's commitment to support PRHA, which in the past is in the past, but we need to move forward. And as we said, we're still working with our agreement from 1954. So, you know, we're ready. All right, we're ready, and I think we're doing a good job. Right. But thank you, sir. All right, we'll move on to the committees, and the first one that we got is the Finance Committee, and if it's okay with you, Cliff, I'll run with it.
Right.
You have in Mr. Reyes, just so you'll know, there's before we go into the financials, there was one thing I was asking for him to do was where our investments are at for PRHA. So y'all know that we do keep some cash reserves. We do a lot of business with Town Bank, all right? But I've asked Mr. Reyes to make sure that as far as our checkbook goes, where the money's at, so we all know where our cash is at. And are we getting the right return on our money at PRHA? But you'll look at the first quarter. I'm just gonna go over the first sheet there. We are in a plus, which is good. If you were sitting here 4 years ago, you were concerned about making payroll, or just making that week's payroll. So we're up about $1 million in first quarter, as we just talked about, and Mr. Bland and I were talking about. The only money that we have flexibility with is those first two lines. That's the only money we have flexibility with. The rest of the money has to be spent on those particular housing units. The Swanson, the Westbury Pine, Westbury Holly, Westbury Cottages, Seaboard 1, Seaboard 2, those monies can be shifted around as expenses come up, all right? The other 8 or 9 properties there, those monies can only be spent on those properties. So the $537,000 you see for Hope Village can only be spent for Hope Village. Again, first quarter is looking good, but I think we were briefed, Mr. Reyes briefed us last time, our insurance went up through the roof. We're looking for those bills to come in, right? And the maintenance expenses have started to go through the roof. And those areas that you see, the properties that you see, the losses there, Cottages, King Square, Hamilton 2, Lexington 1, are all due to the insurance bills that have come in and the maintenance bills that have come in, all right? So we're gonna expect that kind of trend coming to us for the rest of the year. So first quarter, we're just kind of holding our own, all right? And it's we just talked about security. We're kind of holding our own to see what other expenses we're gonna have to come up with security to keep our residents safe. So I am not ringing the bell that we got an issue. Mr. Reyes has come aboard and has a great staff for us. We are in a plus situation, all right? But easily that'll evaporate, okay? All right, you've got the individual ones, if you care to go through them. If you got any questions, if you could just bring them up with Mr. Reyes later on. But the two particular areas that are concerned are the maintenance and insurance are the ones that are causing the biggest concern for us, right? We think we've ironed out the real estate property tax issue. There was some, we had to go to the assessor. There were some calculations that were really wacky. We think we still have those out, but again, given that the millions of properties that we had, we still had a plus up with real estate taxes, but it wasn't as detrimental as we thought it was gonna be. Okay. Any 30,000-foot questions at all?
I have a question, you said with the maintenance, is that because of, temp service? Which you,
Maintenance costs?
The maintenance cost, that's just gone up, just like most everything did in 22. It has almost doubled what it used to be. And, yeah,
you mean for like materials, or you mean like staffing?
the ground, maintenance, the
Landscape.
groundskeeping, landscaping, yeah, that's those things.
A good example is this pipe that we repaired out here, all right? I mean, that doubled by the time we got done with it, all right? That was only in a matter of a couple days, all right? Right. Right, again, next month, we're gonna go over the investments of where we are with investments for PRJ, all right? Right? With anything?
Touched it all.
Perfect, thank you very much. Okay, development?
Who?
Development, have you got it?
No.
Nothing? Okay. Human resources?
Nothing.
Okay, and I thank you for the work, Stephanie and Sean, thank you very much for the work on the performance appraisal for Mr. Bland. I know we'll be talking about that in a few minutes, but it's been a long time coming. I appreciate some of the candid remarks that we had and some of the very specific good things and challenges, and we presented them with Mr. Bland today, and I told the story, and Stephanie's not gonna believe it, but 5 years ago, when Mr. Bland and I here started, he had hair and I had blonde hair, all right? So look what this place has done to us, you know? Okay. All right. Housing?
Okay, the report on housing, the Housing Choice Voucher HCV program staff went live with the Move to Work MTV program. Staff complemented the study enrollment process with the first group of clients on May 3rd, 2023. The HUD research team was on site to assist authority staff. We have approximately 80 families remaining in Swanson homes that are searching for housing or are waiting to move into other PRHA housing. Occupancy staff is continuing to assist Swanson Homes residents that have requested tenant protection vouchers. Staff previously met with current Swanson Homes residents to discuss strategies for moving, resolving barriers, and clarifying the importance of completing their relocation process. Our goal remains to have all the families out of Swanson Homes by the end of the summer. Staff is continuing to work with the 4 kids staff to provide security deposits for those voucher holders who need assistance. Housing, the housing department staff went live. Okay, I said that already. And staff is continuing to assist residents with delinquent rent. Some residents are working with 4 kids for assistance. Staff also assisted EVMS, Eastern Virginia Medical School, with a smoke-free study survey in public housing. Lastly, some of the housing staff attended the BAHCDO conference on May 11th and 12th. They enjoyed the sessions and were able to network with other agencies.
Who attended the Vacado? Who attended that? Did we have any scholarship winners this year?
No.
No? Okay, all right.
None.
Did we have any nominees at all?
No.
No? Okay, okay. Good. It's always a good meeting. It's a good meeting. I'm glad people, where was that this year?
Sheraton.
Sure.
Norfolk.
Norfolk, okay. Norfolk, okay, good. The governance, we really won't come into play until, September?
September, until it's going, we just talked about it briefly, then we're gonna try to, we got a work session coming up with city council and economic development as a team, and we plan to, look at the, 56 corporate agreement as part of that work session.
Thank you. One of the other things, Councilman Tillage, I know it's y'all, who y'all invite, but your retreat next year, we'd love to be invited.
So what we're looking for this year is, gonna have a part 2 retreat this year in the fall. But in between that, we want to start meeting with commissions. And so as Mr. Bland mentioned, PRHA has come up as a joint meeting, as well as EDA. And so I know that she's working now on trying to get those dates, on trying to find what's best for council. And then she should be reaching out hopefully to PRHA soon. To find out what some dates.
Like, is there anything in particular you'd be looking for us? From us?
So basically, the purpose of these meetings are to begin to brainstorm as we put together a plan of what the city's gonna look like. And so you can't really do economic development plans without doing a housing plan and vice versa. And so that's kind of the initial meeting to figure out what that's gonna look like, how we can do it, and what our roles will be. So at this point, it's kind of really early to say, you know, exactly what it is. But I think having everybody at the table to talk about it will be a better idea.
Yes, sir. Very much. Security, John Reed. Right, I appreciate having Chief Jenkins here. I'll give you all credit for that. Thank you.
I did talk to one of the security staff. She just mentioned some cameras that were out. She said they already gave y'all a list of which ones were out.
Yeah, I walked, one afternoon, I walked with, Dave, and we looked at those areas. And the goal is when we finish moving the family out of Swanson, we're gonna move those cameras into what we call those dead spots.
Not necessarily dead spots. I know what you're talking about. She said some of them that were supposed to be working and not working.
Right, and we're gonna work on those too.
Okay.
I didn't ask Chief Jenkins at one time. I remember going to one of the conferences, whoever our vendor was very concerned about the bandwidth that was available with the city, that even though we had the cameras and our cameras were great, the bandwidth wasn't adequate enough for the city to accept the feed. Has that been fixed?
Right now, we're not using the city's Wi-Fi, so we are still using our own Wi-Fi. So
Sure.
not that I'm aware of, you know.
Well,
think
I
if
was
we switch
told
to-
that is a problem, and that we will not be able to talk to the city because of the city's bandwidth issue. Okay,
So I guess if we get on the city's, you know, net, or that may be an issue.
I certainly, I don't know if you're aware of that, Councilman Village, but,
So you're on the city network.
it's the city network has some sort of deficiency that, it's not big enough for us to talk to you. So that's why a lot of times, I guess we gotta download the picture and give it to y'all, because we can't send it.
Have you talked to, Mr. Hayes?
I had talked to, Daniel when he was here, and that's why I said it's been a while,
Yeah.
and I know, the last time I saw, Delegate Hayes was probably about 3-4 months ago, and I brought it up with him, right? But I forgot to hear, but it's been a couple months since I
I want to
talked about it.
bring that to the attention, because I know that from he had a long list.
Yes, sir.
Of names.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir. Right, Ms. Blaine, you're up.
The only thing, I did have a meeting with the chief, Monday, and he was telling me he wanted to come and talk to me what he talked about today. Because what I try to do is have at least a monthly meeting with him, or meeting with him by Monday, just so we know where we are and stuff like that. Beyond that, staff have been working very hard. We are still looking to fill our vacant positions, and it's just tough. Especially in the maintenance position, our HCV position, property management position, that's where we have the greatest turnover at in those three. But we're aggressive trying to fill those positions. My human resource person going to a conference in South Carolina Sunday to come back with some ideas on how we can come up with what we call reward program for employees, well, an outstanding employee for the quarter or year and stuff like that. So he's going to a human resource conference being held in Myrtle Beach. And so from there, we will be coming back with some stuff that we can do to try to increase the morale of the employees. So we'll be looking at that. That's basically it.
There are two things, one from the significant activities report. Was there any feedback or any action items from the RAB meeting that happened in April, the resident advisory report?
be a meeting in it.
I said I was out that day.
I'm not
Stop
sure.
there for the meeting. Do we have a meeting in it?
If you could send us the meeting, send all of us the meeting minutes, but do you remember any action items that came out of it or any concerns that the residents had?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Okay. All right, who was the senior staff person at the meeting at the L1 here?
I think Erica,
Yeah,
she's not,
she's
Erica,
over there.
she's over the resident advisory board.
Okay, very good, very good. And secondly, Mr. Bland, there was some discussion, about the letter that we received from Miss Britt. If you could, let the commissioners know about that, letter that Miss Britt had sent about that you would, I don't know if you sent it to Karen or what have we done with it? Or if you could explain the letter and then,
Well,
what action you're looking on the letter.
yeah, we received a letter from, a lady who's a grandmother of a gentleman who, got killed in, Dale, back in, 2022. Asking for some monetary, outlay from the housing authority. That's about all I can say on it, since it's a since it may become a legal issue.
So where's the letter officially? I mean, where's it at right now? Who's got it for action?
Our
Miss
attorney-
James has it.
I haven't received any, litigation or anything along those lines. I just have a copy. I haven't received any, official litigation.
So it was just a letter that was sent to the housing authority and that's it.
Correct. Yeah. There was.
Did we send any correspondence to Ms. Britt?
I reached out to Miss Britt. She's aware that we did receive it. I did reach out to her. And the letter came to me, but it was for the housing authority, and also the chair got a copy of that same letter. And that was it. But it's not suing any individual at the housing authority. It may be a person trying to sue the housing authority for what happened to their grandson at one of our community. And those types of letters normally, or those type of suits are normally, being a public agency, that it's not uncommon for housing authority to see those type of.
Let's make sure we understand, it's not, there's no suit. It was a letter.
I understand that. So when you receive those type as the authority's attorney, when you receive those types of letters, what is the next step when you receive that? Is it something that Mr. Bland should respond to in writing? Should we have sent some type of correspondence to that family, or you just let it ride?
In this case, I haven't been told to do anything, and I'm waiting for, any response as regarding litigation. That's typically when we get involved. I think they're asking for some money because, when incident, they claimed that we didn't have enough security. But our position is, unless we get some type of legal response, there's, I don't think,
We don't say anything beyond that.
right. I don't know if they have an attorney or what, so, until we get to that phase. They pretty much let it, right.
We've got, what do we do why don't we do the, jump to resolution, 23, the execution contract for a lift truck. Got that, Dolores?
It's neat. Hello again, everybody. Hello. I'm here before you because we did.
Thanks, Councilman. Councilman Tillage left there.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Dolores.
Okay, we had to, request some quotes during March and April for a lift truck to use for our properties. They're also called bucket trucks. We use them to assess roofs, repair light fixtures on the poles, on the side of our buildings, cut down trees. We have a current bucket truck. It was on its last leg, and I think during the last couple of weeks, it sort of died on us. And so we've been looking for this for a while, but we've been facing supply chain issues. These trucks are, they have a certain number, from what I understand from the dealers. They only receive a certain number of trucks per year. due to these supply chain issues. So, once they're gone, they're gone. You have to wait till the next state open up orders again. So we received quotes from, 4 people. I actually talked to more firms and that some of them didn't even respond. A couple of them said they had reached their max. They couldn't, they weren't even taking orders because they were done through 24. For these trucks. So we did find a firm called Crane Works out of, Texas. They have a truck, they said, that was put on order last year. It's supposed to be built in May. And, he said that we could have it by June. So, when we took the quotes, their price was not the cheapest. However, their time frame was the shortest. So what, I'm here asking is for us to enter into a contract with Crane Works for the purchase of this lift truck. So that we could, now, especially now, since we got a repair bill for our current truck for over $14,000, which is just, something that we should not spend that type of money on for something that's really has outlived its useful life. So Frameworks proposal came in at $221,000. It was, I asked for in the resolution, I asked for a not to exceed amount of $230,000 because this is the cost of the truck. But we are asking for, an extended warranty, as well as, we have to pay for the delivery. So in this case, they'll be driving the truck from Texas to, the housing authority. And that is, what's gonna cost us. So, we had a previous, we did a cost estimate that was, based on a previous quote from a couple of years ago. Was about $150,000. So this price is 14% above our cost estimate. But the delivery frame is better than like I said, it's better than any one that we've had. So we recommend that the authority enter into a contract with Crane Works for the lift truck. Yes.
So is the 230 competitive at all with the other offers that?
Oh, yes.
Even though the time
We
frame-
had, one of the next one was $219,991. We did have an offer that was, and he could not give us exact delivery date. When I spoke with him, he said, pretty much the same thing. He was one of those that said they had their limit. He could take an order. This one would actually take an order for 2024. Another firm did come in, they had like $152,000 price range. However, their truck was not exactly to the specifications that we wanted.
So the one that you're selecting, is it a guaranteed delivery date?
Nothing is guaranteed, unfortunately.
So.
He said, it should be here by June. He said they've been notified that the truck is being built during May. And once they get it delivered, it has to be inspected. They have to do all these, make sure it meets OSHA requirements and some other requirements he told me. And then they could, move forward with, scheduling delivery to us. We have to pay, place an order. We don't have to place an order. We will have to pay a deposit down, to hold that particular vehicle for us, because just like we're looking, other people are looking as well.
Where's the money come from to pay for it?
Capital fund.
Capital fund. Okay. Questions? Right, resolution 2023 resolution authorizing the execution of a contract for a lift truck between Portsmouth Redevelopment Housing Authority and Crane Works. I need a motion.
So moved.
Yep.
I'll second.
Thank you. And, Delise?
Commissioner Cost,
Yeah.
Commissioner Morgan,
Yes.
Commissioner Pickens,
Yes.
Commissioner Prince,
Yes.
Commissioner Wright, Yes. Vice Chair Wicks.
Yes.
Chair Galante.
Yes. We've got two resolutions here, and should have in front of you the employment agreement between the Portsmouth Redevelopment Housing Authority and Edward J. Bland, L. Bland Jr. You should have that in front of you. The employment agreement, in addition to the verbiage that talks about the responsibilities between us.
We don't
None of
have
us have it.
It's under, oh, no, it's in. I thought it was under human resources.
I think we had it at the last meeting, we didn't do anything. That is.
When did last year?
I didn't.
Then we'll hold up on it.
Did
The
they be in
resolution
closed
form is
session?
in here,
We'll
but
wait, we'll wait.
The agreement?
Well, we'll wait for her to come in and give you a copy of the agreement, but it's got, there's two parts to the, there's actually three parts. So, Mr. Bland, I'm a little confused about the resolution. The first one is the extension of his contract.
Should that not be in closed session, attorney?
Not if you're just reading the resolution. Is that what you're doing?
We need to go into closed session to discuss. You had.
Oh, I just assumed you all had discussed that at the special
We
meeting.
wanted a closed session to talk about performance. Do we need to go into closed session to talk about the length of the contract?
This has just been brought to my attention. If you haven't, yes.
We should be doing a closed session.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. No one told me, what has
Yeah.
transpired, but if that's the case. then
Personnel.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know all that.
We do the other two resolutions since we've done that and then go in closed session at the
It's
end.
two, I'm sorry, I'm confused. It's just two resolutions, right? So what do you need to go into closed session for?
Mr. Wright is saying that we should go into closed session about the length of his contract.
That's personnel.
Oh, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying, I thought you all had a special meeting and all this was taken care of.
It
That's
was
why
not.
there was a resolution.
It was not all taken care of.
Okay, I think
Evaluation.
discuss this with me, so I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just learning of this, but if you all have some discussion, then definitely you would have to go to the
Yes, ma'am.
closed meeting. We didn't prepare those resolutions because we weren't told that.
All right. We're going to closed session, next
Next board meeting.
next month, okay? And, so what is the topic of the closed session? We've already talked about, performance,
That's
and
all.
we've already talked about pay. So what is,
Well, the resolutions are to accept or to approve the pay that we talked about.
Just to accept it.
We would have to agree on that. The commissioners would have to agree on that. If we're going to extend the contract.
So we can do these two and then wait till next session to do the contract.
But there's no resolution here.
There's no
There's no
resolution.
resolution here for the pay.
Resolution
It's
2023-23,
21.
and then resolution 23-23. That's the contract. Okay.
Well, that is some things. 22 and
Yeah,
21.
22 was for the,
thank you.
yeah, either that's just a half a resolution.
Right. That's not.
That's what I'm asking. So we're going to closed session. What is the topic? I just want to make sure we're clear what the topics of the closed session are going to be.
The closed session would be the contract itself, because that's personnel. We don't have the resolution for pay. The table.
Resolution for pay is not on the table. Because but I just want to make sure that has already been discussed. Pay has already been discussed in closed session. We don't have a resolution for pay here. We don't have a resolution.
But shouldn't we have one?
You should.
I don't disagree that there should be one. That's why I was a little confused about when I saw the two resolutions, right? But as far as the length of the contract, that we need to discuss that in closed session.
Right.
And have a resolution as well.
Now, Mr. Bland went up, so we're, the next. Ms. James?
Yes.
So next month, want to go into closed session to talk about the employment agreement as it relates to the, term of the agreement.
Okay.
Okay? And then when we come out of closed session, there'll be two issues that we need resolutions for. One is for the term of the agreement, and the second one is for the salary.
Are we including the salary along with the retroactive pay?
Let me go back to, let me go with those two before we go to the third one. My conversations with Mr. Bland, when we had the performance appraisal, is that
We should not.
the retroactive pay can't happen. All right,
We don't do this publicly.
the resolution for the retroactive pay is gonna come off the table. All right, okay. So are we good, Ms. James?
So you're gonna have the terms and the salary resolutions, is that
I would
correct?
recommend that they be two different resolutions, even though they're
Well,
gonna
I mean,
include
those
the.
would be the discussions for the closed session,
Yes,
those two
ma'am.
separate.
No, ma'am, just the one, which is the term of the agreement, because we've already discussed in closed session the salary.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
But it's
but we
not,
still
but we
want two
don't,
separate
next,
resolutions.
there'll be two separate resolutions, one for the term of the agreement, and secondly for the salary,
Okay.
all right? Am I clear? Okay, and the one about the retroactive pay comes off,
Okay.
okay? Are we good, Mr. Bland? Okay. Yeah, I thought that, yes, you wanted to only sent this to myself. And
I think we probably should have just sort of
did
discussed
everybody
that.
did everybody get this?
We just got it.
I mean, you just got it right now,
We just got it.
but I thought you sent this out electronically to everybody. You did,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm confused now.
She did it.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
confused.
got my copy.
I didn't get it, but we understand why. Because I'm not in that group email. So not everybody got it.
Did you get this?
No, I didn't.
Did you get?
I don't think I'm in the group email.
You did.
Everybody has it now, though. You have it now, okay, in your hands, okay?
That's our homework.
Okay, got it. Got it.
Okay.
Now, can we still keep the dates in here, Mr. Bland? Are the dates still good?
Yeah,
We may
Okay.
have to modify them. Because we're going to do this next month, right? We may have to modify.
well, what was in the board resolution was, the board resolution had, exhibit A, which is the contract as part of the board resolution. And a copy of the, draft employment agreement, was emailed out to everybody.
Well, Ms. James, you and Mr. Bland figure out whether the
Okay.
dates have to change,
Okay.
okay? All right, if they have to change, they have to change. If they can keep the way it is, all right? I understand we can't change the date back to another fiscal year. I understand that. If it's within the fiscal year, let's do what we have to do to accommodate. Okay. I take responsibility for it. I thought everybody had it. I take that responsibility. All right. On that with the agenda. Right, I'm sorry, man, to hold you up so long, but, public speakers are allowed 5 minutes to speak, and, ma'am, you're not up? You want to say anything? You're not happy? Okay, all right. Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I guess we're just gonna run the table here, see if anybody got anything. Ma'am, nothing? Stephanie?
Oh.
Yeah. What? Good.
Good.
Who's in Denver? Myself? Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, Ms. Wicks.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay, thank you. Keita, okay. Any alibis from the staff? Yeah, thank you. Your hair looks great. Thank you very much. All right, we're adjourned. So, are we getting anything? Are you receiving anything electronically?
We just discovered